All right, folks, welcome back to Tarot with a Twist. And this is another last Ask the Cards question that came in from the member, Terese. Thank you. The question was about Erika Kirk, because right now in the media, there's a lot of weird things going on with her. And we want to know was she involved in any of this at all? Now, again, we're not making accusations. We're just reading the energy of the cards to see what they have to say. So we're going to do Marseille, start with 3 cards and see where it goes. Now, the way I read this is I don't read a line like positions. I read from the center as a current energy tension to the outer cards. And so the, wow, 15, devil, she was involved somehow because the 15 becomes a 6. That's the lovers. And so it was an out of balance relationship. Something was wrong and something had to be done. And so this is like, you see how the devil's here in the middle? He's on top of the platform, and these 2 people are being held by chains, and he's the one kind of pulling the strings. I don't know if this is her or not, but we asked, was she involved in this? And if she's playing this card here, then the answer is yeah. She's trying to control the situation, control what's being said, right? Let's pull 2 more cards here. Oh, wow. We have the King of Batons and you have the Two of Batons. So it's also looking at this king. I would say it was Charlie. He's looking at her. But he's bigger. You see how much bigger he is in the picture than the devil is. So it was like he has more control and he's trying to say, look, I want to move to the future, but she's blocking him and she's trying to hold back his decisions, the Two of Batons right here. So whatever he was trying to do, she's not going to allow it. So there was something at play here that was a little bit nefarious that was holding her back from her agenda. So she had to try to recapture him somehow. And you look, even the look on the face here is not the most pleasing. In the body language, he just wants to move into the scene, right? He wants to move in and say, get off my pedestal. This is not yours. But she chose that she was the one. It's up to her to make the decisions now, okay? About what? Money. See how you have the page of coins or denier? And so what you're seeing here is I'm looking at her, this is her in a sense, even seeing Marseille or any tarot really generally don't mean anything because of the question. So we're seeing there's some core tension here. 2 people, one's trying to control. The king, I would say, was Charlie. This person's her because looking at money. So it's like she's now looking at the money because you're not going to make decisions that's going to screw me up. You're not going to make decisions that's going to hold me back. So you're going to start talking the way we want you to. This could also look like to me when I see the devil here is kind of come to my mind. The energy I'm picking up on is really he want to talk about Christianity and expose the other said country for what they were, the devil, in a sense, total corruption and not aligned with his values. That's why he's looking at us. So as I'm pulling more cards, I'm kind of shifting this a little bit from this being her to more of this being her over here, right? So she wants to hold him back from moving into the future. And that's why this card here is like blocking. It's almost like saying you're not going to make your decision to expand. You're not going to be allowed to move forward because this entity here, the page of coins, is saying no. It's all about money. You're not going to do anything to compromise what is being built right now. So it seems to me she might have been involved. And here you see too is the King of Cups. So emotionally, they need to sway public opinion. So something had to be done to make people feel, oh my God, things have gone completely south quickly. And he's looking to the future. So they need to change the hearts and minds of people to shift the perspective because what Charlie wanted wasn't aligned with what they wanted. So this is a change in emotion, a change in how people feel. Feel about what? Money, new ways to bring in income, new ways to establish more control, new ways to expand their organization and their business. That's the Ace of Coins. Okay. And so it's all about money, right? And it got corrupted because it's almost like this is so huge too that there is new money coming in, but because he was speaking, it would go away. So that would kind of like hurt them and their cause. What kind of new money? To bring in a new world of some type, to bring in a new mindset to people, to move them forward from the old way of thinking, Christianity, to a new way of thinking. Because, see, he was starting to expose some darkness about said country. He was starting to expose some things that just didn't align with the current narrative. So he had to be dealt with in a way where his decisions couldn't impact money or revenue streams. And so therefore they had to then use the emotions of people by doing something that could change it erratically and take them to a different place. Okay. So how would they actually change people erratically? How would they do that? Two of coins. Making deals with other people. Making commitments with other people. See how the heart is looking at money too? So it's all around money, where they're trying to now bring a new stability through new type of contracts and decisions being made. Because they knew that by him continuing to speak, it would bring destruction. It would have to always try to balance out, because you would have to get new donors, new people bringing in new type of money. But they didn't want that kind, because the one that was being offered was great. And that's the devil. Now, what was this one about? Yeah, new loyalties, new heartstrings, new emotions. So he was changing the mind of people, and they couldn't have that, because all it would do is bring in more contention. So his decisions would have taken away everything they've built, and she couldn't have that. Because why? She couldn't handle it mentally, because the narrative put in play, Two of Swords, had to continue at all cost. So they had to make sure they blocked every decision he made in order to push this new agenda that would bring in different money. Right? Look at all the coins here. So you see this whole thing that happened with her is around money. At least that's what the energy is showing us here. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and pull a couple oracle cards from this. What's it called? The Mildred Payne's Secret Pocket Oracle. I haven't used it before, but I thought this would be a great reading to use it in. So let's just kind of see what it has to say. It's like a love triangle too, you know, when you think about the devil there, and it's all around money, decisions being made, heart, new relationships here. And so this triangle was for a new relationship, because he was trying to break away from said country. Can't say the country will probably get, quieted it a little bit. Won't have the reach I'm looking for, right? So, and because of that, it just would hurt the cause. And the cause was not his cause, it was their cause, who was said country. Octopus, greed, all about money, right? It's greed. Yeah, they need it more. They want it more. It wasn't enough for them, right? So they kept wanting to move their cause forward at any cost. So octopus at play. Then you have what? Diamond. But they also knew no matter what happened, she had to be portrayed as a loving wife. The diamond on the finger, marriage, perfect, right? So greed, diamond, marriage, had to make sure that whatever went down, she had to come out like a lot of care. And what's funny too is that ring on her finger in the public videos was huge. Reminds me of that picture right there. What else we got? A cauldron. What does a cauldron do? You whip up a spell. How do you put on a spell in today's day and age? You create an illusion and do something totally different. What happened? What's going on in the courts right now? What are we finding out? It didn't go down like they said. Magic. Right? What else we got? The spider. What does the spider do? Well, it's a black widow. It's feminine energy, isn't it? And they take out the male, I believe. That's interesting. That card comes up. Spider. I wonder what the little pamphlet says. One second. Let me grab the pamphlet from this deck. 51. Spider. Carefully designing one's life. That's interesting. Strong and powerful feminine energies. So what do you think? Comment below, involved if you think so, or comment below, no, you're high, she ain't involved. which is fine. I just want to kind of know your thoughts on this. Involved or not involved? Comment below. One more card, and then we're going to call this one good. Like a crystal ball. Orbiculum. So I'm assuming this is kind of like seeing into the future, right? Looking at what's going to happen. So it's kind of like the spider has to stop the male from speaking, because if they don't, then their wealth goes away, right? Because they're really greedy and they're tied in with new relationships, trying to spin a whole new narrative with a different type of a world. Because remember, Charlie was going more towards Christianity, but the people who were giving him money were trying to make you think it was Christianity, but it was something else, right? The devil card, the 3 in play. So anyway, that's the reading I have for you, Terese. Thank you so much for the question. I hope this answers your question. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. You can message me privately or just, drop a message, whatever you like to do. And I'm going to throw some dice here just to see. This gives me the energy of the 7. So it's kind of like, again, they chose 5 destruction to 7 it, to silence things, to basically put the opposition at rest. So they needed a way to really step back from all the ideology he was pushing out there about the said country, right? Because he was starting to put it in a bad light, and they couldn't have that because he was choosing to speak things about them that weren't in the most positive light. And so when you 7 somebody, you put them on a rest. And I'm looking at that like you put them on ice in a sense. So 7 is about resting, stepping away, a 7th day of rest and so forth. But I'm looking at it more like 7 silence, stepping back, getting you out of the limelight. There's many ways to do that, but from here, it ain't looking very hot. So was this person involved, Erika involved? I think it looks like she was involved somehow. I'm not saying she did anything because I don't know, but the energy is was all around money, and the way she's acting is not really in the best light for her. So again, I don't know, but I think she should be investigated for sure, questioned at the very least, to see what's happening. Anyway, that's what I got. And if you want your own question read, go to wordwithatwist.com and then let's ask the cards and ask me a question. You have to be a member, of course, so log in, doesn't cost anything. Create an account and ask away. Until next time, I want to see you in my next reading. Bye, everybody.